We are back at the European Car Curtain, home of Wayward Mechanics, with Mr. Nicholas, and we're working on the next phase of mods on this truck because it's a never-ending tale of mods because it's fun to do. And this time it's performance and reliability because we're upgrading the radiator to the full Race Radiator along with the full Race Transcooler and a new SPD Thermostat. And then to top that off, we're going to put in some new performance spark plugs and ignition coils. It's going to be fun. Let's get going. Before we jump into the vlog, I want to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's vlog, and that's Hammerbuilt. They were instrumental in helping me get to the next phase of what I wanted to do with this Prelander build, and I can't thank them enough. So, if you want to learn more about Hammerbuilt, go check them out. You can visit hpbuilt.shop or follow the link in the description below to check out their website. Find mods on a multitude of off-road trucks, including the Bronco and Raptor. Check out lighting if you want to have the lumens of 1,000 suns like me, and you can also upgrade your suspension for tougher terrain, or choose from a multitude of other mods and gear. Hammerbuilt at hpbuilt.shop.
I tried to lay everything out for you so it looked all nice for the gram.
Behold the shinies. This is a brand new radiator, and this is a transcooler. Why do we have these things, you ask? I know this is probably not the sexiest of mods. I don't know, transcoolers and radiators. Is that a sexy mod, Nick? I mean, you think it's a sexy mod.
I think it's a sexy mod, but I'm weird.
So when you start running your truck hard and fast and, you get overheating sometimes, or you start getting up on the numbers, and this might help alleviate that situation. So these are going in the truck. We got to put this pipe in too. Some fluids and more fluids.
And a thermostat.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we do have,
we have a 170 degree SPD thermostat. And a couple of nice little...
That's true. We do have to grab
shiny
that pipe.
MSD
coil packs. Coil packs, and we actually do also have a tuner as well. I didn't bring that with me, but these are a couple other performance modifications we're doing for the truck finally. So effectively, this truck is going to have a full Race intercooler, an upgraded radiator, a transcooler, thermostat,
colder spark plugs,
whole new spark plugs, and these bad boys, as well as a tuner, and we will see how that truck performs after all that is installed. And now we are draining some fluids.
Yay, warm coolant.
You were saying Ford put the wrong coolant in here when the last...
I thought they did, but no, this is the correct yellow coolant, which is yellow because all of these are color-coded, and this one is nitrate-free. That's why it's yellow versus the orange. This is what they put in their diesel trucks. So far, air box is out, moving pipes out of the way, which also is a good excuse to change this guy since we're here.
We installed this a while ago, but unfortunately, we left out one of the pipes, and now we're finally putting it in.
These are the ways. Well, we're loose. Now we separate the AC and pull the radiator. Radiator is out, obviously. Radiator. So this is a single core radiator, one core. Plastic end caps, which is what everybody uses until you get into the high-end race stuff, which is what we have here. One of the big changes is fluid capacity and thickness. This is inch thick. This is 1.5 inches or more. I'll measure. Big difference in the amount of airflow you can get across the water to keep that temperature right where you want it. So why are we taking the intercooler out? One, that thing's really heavy. And it's got this nice little mounty bracket. The top bracket being made out of this very nice heavy-duty aluminium. Says full race, all that, blah, blah, blah. That holds the top in, right there and there. On the bottom, it's held in by this guy. That guy. So it's rattling loose. as you can see by that corner, we have a problem. So now I get to take it out and straighten it, because one more thing to add to the list.
Here you can see the slight wampus bend on the bracket mount on this bar. So ideally, there would have probably been another mounting part on the opposite side of this, and maybe that would prevent the bending. But we're gonna have to figure out a solution. We're gonna bend it back and then maybe do a support from the front, because there's really no way to further reinforce that area. We'll figure it out. This is just, you know, the game, so to speak.
Boop. It's the idea. This is your oil cooler. This is the oil cooler she told you not to worry about. Cooler. Now, they added a little pipe so that the hoses will all line up, which is very cool of them. Size-wise, they're about the same height of core and very close to the same depth, but as you can see, you're getting another third of coolant or of capacity, and you're getting bigger tanks on the end. This is where all the trans fluid comes up.
So Nick, explain why this is going to aid in performance of a vehicle and what it's going to do.
So, petrochemicals in cars are supposed to be at they're set to run at a specific range of temperatures. When your trans fluid gets too hot, your transmission will go into a limp mode or will reduce its ability to keep everything lubricated, keep the little friction discs and clutches inside actually moving in the way they're supposed to, and you'll fry your transmission. I've done it. Yeah, it's not fun. So the idea is keep as much airflow as you can. Now, the transmission has a thermostat inside, so it will control how much fluid goes in and out to keep the transmission fluid warm enough that it can do its job. But you don't want it too hot. It's the same reason we add additives like water wetter to our radiators, which allow it to run colder because they're a surfactant, which helps them stick to the walls.
And what sort of performance or environments is this going to be used
This
in?
is really for you guys in California, Arizona, people out in the desert, people running, or people who tow. Anytime when you're putting a big load on that transmission a lot. The type of driving Brad does. But yeah, most common place you see big trans coolers like these is in diesel trucks.
And the reason why we decided to do this was we did have some temperature, noticeable temperature increasing when we were doing Baja and Mojave, as well as honestly it kind of went up even in Bend, Oregon when we were rallying around there kind of at speed pushing the truck a little hard. So we thought, you know what, truck's getting a little bit older, we got some miles on it, we might as well see if we can give it a little bit of a crutch, a leg up.
Improve the flow. Heating. So these are pretty generic units where the hoses go in, but you can see the mounting brackets are designed to be mounted on multiple different types of vehicles. So it's a good idea for a lot of vehicles. Now, this is the Ford factory one, and the fact that it has a factory trans cooler like this is awesome, because most vehicles don't. Most vehicles cool it through the radiator. There'll be a couple little ports in the bottom or in the side that run the trans fluid through a special channel in the radiator, which only gets it down to radiator temp. This allows it to actually cool a lot more, so you can see lower trans temps, which makes your trans just run better, makes it shift better. You don't get the harsh bang shifts, which saves wear and tear on the rest of the rig.
Okay, we've got all the new bits in place, including the new thermostat going in now.
So, in case any of you were wondering, thermostat housing, really difficult. 3-hole bolts. Pull the hose out of the way. There's your thermostat. Yeah, not too crusty, not too bad.
And that's the old one?
This is the original. So, what we're putting in, this opened at, it'll probably say somewhere on here, 195 degrees Fahrenheit. So the advantage of opening at 170, and this is what the guys who produce the tuner and from other people we know in the industry who have said, put the 170 in. This allows the thermostat to open sooner so that you're getting coolant flow out of the engine to the radiator at a lower temperature by about 25 degrees. And that makes a huge difference in runnability. Now, it's not great if you live up in, say, Alaska, but there you'd want to have a little bit higher because if the outside air temperature is too high, you'll have problems. So typically what we want to do is put in just low enough that it'll open when we need it to. So 170.
Mr. Nicholas, how do you feel about progress today?
It's all right. So coolant system's in, vacuum bled. Did pretty well on that. Fresh top off of 3 gallons of new coolant, or 2.5 or whatever it took, and a little bit of water wetter, which is a good surfactant, drops your coolant temps. Now we're doing spark plug.
We are all in and buttoned up there. We had to take everything out to get it all in, but we got we put it back in reverse order, so we got the new radiator and fan in.
Air conditioning.
And
brand new transcooler. And getting this big beast back in, and now the mounting brackets are actually done correctly.
Yeah, we bent back those mounting brackets, so they're back in place. So we may have to revisit those and see if we need to reinforce it at some point in the future, but I think we're fine for now. Also, note, we did put new, not coolant, but Freon, basically.
Yeah, Freon.
We did put new Freon in the system as well, because we had to take out the aircon.
You don't technically have to. I just find it a ton easier, and we have a machine.
Machines, shops, who knew? So yeah, I'm going to have fresh air conditioning now. That's kind of neat.
And as a note, the aircon this system's, they measured in grams usually. This system takes, there's always a sticker, 879 grams, which is really specific, don't ask. We only pulled out about 750. So over time, AC does escape. And or when Ford tore this apart and did cam phasers, it didn't get completely topped off or something. I don't know, not my monkey, but that's where it's at.
And the truck is 6 years old, so yeah, there is that. But looking forward to new AC Freon, I guess.
Yeah.
And now we are working on spark plugs.
Oh, that's in tight.
And what are we putting in compared to the old versus new spark plugs?
They don't look any different. However, this is an original Ford spark plug, 12YRT3, whatever the number is. This one has a different number because these are what are called a colder spark plug. This is a really complicated bunch of math, but basically this is designed to burn everything at a lower temperature, and so it doesn't get as hot on the tip of this versus that, so that you can run more fuel, more boost at a higher temperature without detonating. Race car stuff. Some people be aware of anti-seize lubricant. This jar is really messy because this one's over full. But basically it's something to put on there to keep the two pieces of metal from binding and causing problems. So you just put a tiny little bit on there before I thread them in. And whenever I thread in spark plugs, I thread them in by hand. I'll take them out with a tool, but I won't put them in that way. Because if you cross-thread one of these things, it's a bad day. And it could be a bit of a headache. That's a mechanic's joke.
Okay, Mr. Puns over here.
So. I'll find that eventually. It was just a socket, don't worry. They're only $40 each. Thank you, Snap-on.
Was it a 10 millimeter?
No, it was my 8, wobbly 8. They're $42 each. I know, I just replaced that one.
Well, I definitely heard it on the pan.
Yeah, good news. I'll find it eventually.
It's on the skid plate. In go the new coils.
Yeah.
You definitely can tell they're there with that red color to them, huh?
Oh yeah, MSD is very vibrant. Now for the other side. What is C manual? The wrench.
Oh, that does that every now and then. You probably have to plug in your snap.
Okay,
snap
that's
on.
what I thought. Go for snap-on. Code scan. Continue. Whatever. No. Boop. Yep, everything through. It doesn't love me.
A man and his scanner.
I think that was them, right? Okay, good. Only code hood ajar. Scanning. Oh, air grill. Yep. Oh no, the air grill doesn't work.
You mean the one we took apart to fit in the full race intercooler?
And took a Sawzall too? Yeah, that one.
Yeah, we knew that was coming.
Yep.
But everything else is A-okay.
It appears we are good to go.
And that wraps up today's escapades. Now we just have to tune this sucker and then take it out, find a high desert, and test all the new goodness. So what we want to see: low temps, high performance, good reliability. And until next time, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later.